We're going to do a little tutorial today. This is the way we'll run class for a while, where I will give you a tutorial and then I'll give you a project, and you'll have a day or two to complete that project, and then we'll move on to something else. So the good thing about this is that you can pause whenever you want and come back to a view of something that you maybe missed a little bit. So let's see how this works out. Now, first of all, I'm going to open up the doc, and these files are on Canvas for you in the assignment, and it's the making selections and abstract collage, which is where we're going to go to. Once you get there, the first thing I want you to do is open up the basketball JPEG, and I'm going to do a command minus to zoom in, and I'm going to do a command plus maybe a couple of times depending on your screen, so I can see the basketball really well. Most of the selection tools are right over in here, and they're the rectangular marquee tool, the elliptical marquee tool. These just grab a single row or a single column. And here we have the lasso tool, and the polygonal lasso tool, and the magnetic lasso tool. Those are the main ones. And then these two, the quick selection tool and the magic wand tool, of the two, I do use both of these quite often. The quick selection tool is a great tool, and the magic wand tool is good in certain circumstances. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this image, and we want to cut this basketball out of this. And so I'm going to go to my elliptical marquee tool, and when you use the elliptical marquee tool, you make ellipses. Now if I hold on shift, that constrains to a circle. Now the thing about this basketball is it's probably not a complete exact circle. So I'm going to start to drag out an ellipse, and then while I'm dragging, I can hold on my space bar. My space bar allows me then to move my selection. So I would move my selection up a little bit with my mouse still held down, let go of the space bar, and drag my selection out. Then I'm going to hold down space bar again to move it a little bit more, and that back and forth, pretty soon I have that basketball selected pretty well. Now this is still just an empty selection. I have not done anything with it. It's just got the marching ants for the basic circle there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to go File, New, and I'm going to grab in Print, I'm going to grab A4 and just open up a blank doc. I'm going to go back to my basketball now. Now if I want to cut this basketball out and move it to my untitled, there's a few different ways you can do it. The easiest way is just going to the Move tool, and then it cuts it out. You can see the scissors, it cuts it right out. I'm going to Command Z that once, because if I did want to stay on my elliptical marquee tool, I can hold on my Command key. When I hold down Command, I get that little scissors again, and so I can cut the basketball out, and I can put it into my other dock, push it down, and drop that basketball. Then I could Command T, and I could resize it a bit. And this way I would start to make a little collage, right? So you can see here I have my layer 1, that's the basketball. Coming back here now, if I did want to stay within here and just kind of make duplicates now of this basketball, I can go to my Move tool and hold down my Alt key, and then I can just make duplicates, and I can just keep on clicking on duplicates just by holding down my Alt key. So that is the elliptical marquee tool. You can make circles holding down shift, or you can just make ellipses without doing that. I'm going to Command D, and I'm going to close up my basketball right now. I'm not going to save that. And I'm going to go in File, Open, and I'm going to open this box. Command 0. So now I have a box, and let's say that I want to just grab this top part of the box. Okay, it's not a square, and so you might think, well, I could maybe use my rectangular marquee tool, but if I do that, it just makes rectangles, or if I hold down my shift key, it makes perfect squares. But that's not going to help me here. So I'm going to Command D, What I want to do is come down here to the polygonal lasso tool. It's under the lasso tool, polygonal lasso tool. And this allows you to click, make a point, and then I'm going to click another point over here on the top of the box. Come to the next one, and you can see then when you click and click, eventually you'll get that polygon. So now I can do the same thing. I could either go to my move tool and cut this out and put it into my other dock, or I can hold down my command key, cut this out, drag it up to the other one, and layer it down. Now I could have done the same thing all the way around the box, very simply, just by making these points to create my polygon. Okay, so that's the polygonal. You can see it right when we come back to the very beginning one. You see that little circle there? That means it's going to close up that selection. I'm going to Command D that, and I'm going to close up my box. And I'm not going to save that. I'm going to go back again, File, Open, and this time let's open up this apple. And again, with this apple, let's say I only want to get this apple and not this other apple that's kind of attached to it. Might be kind of difficult it's going to be really almost impossible to use the tools we've already used. But we do have a freeform tool, and we also have what's called the magnetic lasso tool. So I could use any of these. Now I'm just going to go to my lasso tool, because the lasso tool is really useful sometimes, but this would be really hard to just click and try to draw all the way around this apple. Sooner or later you're going to do a bad job of it, and it's not really worth it. The lasso tool is great for cleaning things up though. Now the polygonal lasso tool, again, you could click, 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 and keep on making points all the way around something that you want to select, but that takes a lot of time, and that's not the best way to go either. Now the magnetic lasso tool, if I click once and I just go along this path, it's going to lay points down for me, and it's going to, because of the difference in colors here, it's going to try to do that, and I'm not clicking at all. It's laying its own points. So I could go around this whole thing and try to select it this way. Again, probably sooner or later it's going to mess up, but I'm just going to do it just to show you one thing about what you can do if you did not make a great selection the first time. I'm going to close that up. So now this is my selection. I just lost. This is going to be my selection here. I double clicked, that's why I lost that. Let's say I'm going to do a really bad job here. I'm going to show you how to clean this up real fast. Okay, I'm going to go back to my first point and then click that selection. So now I can zoom in here. I can see, yeah, I've done a really poor job over in this section. So if I want to add something here, I can actually go back to my lasso tool, and if I hold down my shift key, you can see it gives then I see a little plus sign. I can add to this selection, and I can draw this out. So again, I'm just drawing with my lasso tool. I'm going to try to draw this part, come back around, then I added that to the selection. And I could do the same thing like down here. I can add a little bit more to that. And I can go around that way and try to fix up maybe kind of a bad selection. So here I would also hold down shift and maybe just add that part of the apple a little bit there. Now if there's something that you needed to subtract, you hold down the Alt key. If I want to subtract something from this, it works like this. I can draw this out, and I subtracted that part of my selection. So again, that's another way of getting that selection. And again, I'm just going to hold down my Alt key. I'm sorry, my Command key, and drag that into my other dock. And in this way, I'm starting to build a little bit of a collage. I'm going to close that apples up In fact, let's stay on the apple one time. I want to show you one other tool while we're here. This is the quick selection tool. And this is a great tool, but it's kind of defined by how big your brush size is. And again, with the bracket keys, I can change my brush size. So in this case, I'm going to just start drawing on this apple. And I can stop, and you see I get the plus sign. Now it's going to add to it. And I can work like this. Maybe something like this. It's not going to work well in parts. I'm missing this. But again, once I get that, and that was really fast, I can go to my lasso tool. I can zoom in here a little bit, hold down shift to add this part to it. And there you go, and that's a pretty good selection there, really quickly. This quick selection tool works with the different colored pixels, and sometimes it works really well. Other times it won't work so well, but it is a great tool. The last tool that I want to show you is this magic wand tool. And the magic wand tool, I'm going to just open up a dock that you guys don't have right now. But I have this world, it's on a white background. And it looks like it's a pretty uniform color here. So if I did come with my magic wand tool, I can click to select a point. And you can see it did a pretty good job. It selected all of this same color, right? All the same color with a tolerance of 32. This means whatever I clicked on, 32 shades lighter to 32 shades darker. So now, if I wanted to, I could come in here, and I'm going to unlock that layer, and I could just delete that, right? It left this part because this wasn't that same color, but I could just get rid of that really easily. So now I have not my world selected, but I have that part that I just deleted selected. If I want my world, I would have to go select, inverse, and then I can move this out of there really quickly. Again, using the magic wand tool. Now the other tool that I use quite often, and again I'm going to open up another dock that you don't have, is here. I have black all the way around this, and it doesn't matter what color it is, but on my eraser tool, this magic eraser tool works really well with things like this. So I just want to get rid of my black. I can click in that black, and now I can see my transparency underneath, and it worked really well because it was all one uniform color. That I had set to contiguous, so any colors that were right next to each other and weren't separated were deleted. And again, just another easy way to get rid of maybe a background color that is all one color type.